Impact Plus. Experience Impact Wrestling like never before.
I don't think I want to be a full-time anything except a full-time RVD. When I joined Impact for the first time, it was exciting because I had been out of the limelight for a minute. It was big news. Impact had just recently gotten this live time slot so they could go up against Monday Night Raw, and they were trying to compete with the live show. And they'd brought in some wrestlers that they thought would add name value. I was excited about coming in, my debut. I came in through the crowd, jumped off the top rope, flying sidekick to Sting as he was in the ring cutting a promo. And I gave him the Rolling Thunder, and I pinned him for the 1, 2, 3. And that's a good way to come in. However, Hulk Hogan was part of this scenario, or at least he was supposed to be. And we were expecting him to come down the ramp, and there was no Hulk Hogan there. And Sting had hit me with his club.
Oh my God, Sting with the baseball bat! Just as RVD was celebrating with the crowd here at the Impact Zone.
And I reacted, I sold it, I got what I could out of it, but after a while I felt like I was just laying a little too long to be, the damage had worn off. I had to get up again and take another club, and then another club, and another club. And it seemed like even though I won the match on my debut, and I held Sting down for a 3 count, it kind of seemed like he kind of put the boots to RVD afterwards, and a lot of the fans, were like, "What kind of way is that to bring RVD in?" And I was told Hogan was nowhere in the building. They had to go find him, like way down by his dressing room. The next day when I saw him, I was like, "Hulk, I thought you forgot about me out there last night." He's like, "What?" I said, "I thought you forgot about me last night. You left me out there." And he's like, "No, I didn't forget you." So I was like, "Oh, okay, never mind then. That's Hulk Hogan. What are you gonna do?" First run with Impact, right off the bat, I was happy to work with Jeff Hardy. Always one of my favorite guys to wrestle with, because we're so like-minded. We both have the same idea of what's cool when it comes to a match. I mean, I don't paint my face and stuff, but when it comes to a match, we both have, we're both impressed by the same moves, or we both want to risk the same for our fans for the match. AJ Styles, I wrestled him a lot. I always liked wrestling Jerry Lynn, and the last match I had with him was at Impact. He told me he was retiring, and I didn't want him to go, even though I hadn't wrestled him, and I don't know, it could have been a couple years by that point. It had been a while, but he and I set new standards that still are in place today.
Let it happen. I mean, that would be coast to coast.
I hear so many up-and-coming wrestlers say, "Let's start off the match doing some of that, like that RVD Jerry Lynn stuff." Like it has its own name now to the competition, that we brought out of each other. And when I wrestled Jerry at that last Impact match, I was just like always, like, how are we gonna outdo ourselves? What can, we learned so much from each other every match that the next match was a natural progression. Like, I know last time I went for this, he did this, and then he did this, so this time I'm gonna act like I'm going for that, but I'm gonna go for this, and it was just the chemistry that brought that out. And at that particular match, because it was a hardcore environment.
Always able to change direction in midair. That's what's impressive about Van Dam.
Well, we saw it from both of these men throughout the match. We saw that same ability on several occasions by Jerry Lynn, but in the end, the renewal of the illustrious rivalry between these two, the win at Extravaganza goes to Rob Van Dam.
I had this match with Abyss. It was a Monster Ball match. It was a pay-per-view. He had this big club that had nails sticking out of it and was wrapped in barbed wire. Deadly, like that's something you could literally kill somebody and peel their skin off in probably like one swing. I believe it was probably my only barbed wire match that I had. Not that it was something on my bucket list like I really wanted to do, but you know, I think there was thumbtacks also in there, you know, and that's okay, that's a business style. That's what he brings to the hardcore element, environment. Myself being more of, you know, the chairs and tables or whatever. So this had everything. There was a lot of what people would call high-risk moves, and I guess they are, you know, getting hit in the head with a chair and falling 8 feet through a table wrapped in barbed wire. There's definitely some risks associated with that, but it's also in the realm of what I know I can do. So I'm out to prove it, and I did it.
Janice is done. 5-star off the top. Frog splash. Nailed it.
Impact had a reputation at the time for being less than secure or trustworthy from the perspective of the talent, you know, that was thinking of it as a place to work. Why? Because it was rumored every single week to be going out of business. You know, we all had our own theories. You know, I used to think they didn't want to succeed, honestly, because of the lack of growth. And at first I wanted to laugh that off. The longer I was there, it seemed to be like at least a valid concern and a valid possibility, you know. So originally I joined Impact with a 3-year contract that I signed. And they were talking to me about re-signing, and I was interested, you know, at the time. Said, yeah, let's talk about it. We worked out every single detail of a new contract, everything except for a starting date, which never happened. So as I'm waiting week after week, and I'm on the phone talking to Al Snow, because he was put in that position of being the middleman. Al, what's going on with that contract? And he'd be, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know, I guess it's Bruce. I don't know, he said he was gonna have it last week. I don't know why he didn't have it. And then finally, I didn't take them seriously anymore, and I even started getting offended. You know, like, how bad can they really want me there if they're not producing the contract? I went to see Booker T getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. Everybody saw me. The offer came, and you know, that's what happened. I've gone through some major life changes. 2015, I got separated, and then you know, my dog died, and then beginning of 2016, my dad died. And so I really grew up. Like, I was forced to grow up. And when I look back, I can't believe what a kid I was before that. Like, when I look at me in my 30s now, I feel like I didn't know anything. Like, I felt like my whole perspective of life was like a child's, and that's how much I feel like I've grown through actual real experiences in life lately. And so I'm always glad to share what I've learned with anybody that wants to hear it. I don't force my opinion on anybody. I made a documentary recently called Headstrong. People watch the movie and they say that they're surprised to learn how much they couldn't relate to me, because they think I'm a superhero, and then they find out I have to get over life's obstacles just like everybody else. I have to deal with that, and I try to do it and remain cool, try to not let it change me, try to persevere. It totally takes a turn and becomes about something way different than I thought it would, but it totally catches you up on the meat of what I have been doing for the last several years. And obviously I've been keeping in shape, keeping very much like RVD does, but over the last several years, most of my matches have been overseas to the United States, UK, Italy, Scotland, Australia, whatever. But I'm really, as of lately, the last couple of years, just enjoying life so much. It's so rewarding, and I get so much love everywhere I go. Everyone's like so happy to see me, even if they saw me 20 years ago and they haven't watched wrestling since then. I look basically the same. I impacted their lives like so much back then. This is just one of those matches. I got booked to wrestle at WrestleCon. Scott D'Amore was the guy that I talked to. Myself and Sabu, we're gonna wrestle the Lucha Brothers. Cool, sounds like a good booking.
Van Dam's ready, Sabu!
Oh my God!
Through the table they go!
Wow!
And then, he just reached out and said, hey, I'd like to talk to you about, some other dates, see if you're open to doing them. That led to like maybe 3 more dates. And then he says, hey, I got some other dates. That led to about like 4 more dates. So what led me to taking these dates and returning to Impact was the business of it. I'm excited because, one, I feel appreciated, you know what I mean? I'm in an important position right now. When I look back at ECW, that was the most fun of my career. That's where I was learning to put it together and where I cut my teeth, so to say. That's where I became a superstar. And it was like the most opinionated crowd to really learn in front of, which is great because it made me great. But basically in the wrestling industry, you got one big company that's the standard setter. They're mainstream. They aim for mainstream. If I was to draw some parallels between ECW and Impact Wrestling, there's a lot more freedom because you don't have to worry about trying to fit in. That allows a lot more productivity than trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. I guess what excites me about coming to Impact mostly is just that, it's hot, it's now, it's on TV. I'm excited to be part of something like that, to be accessible to the fans. I'm excited to see the fans excited. There's a little bit of pressure that I put on myself to not fall short of expectations. But overall, the pressure that's on there to be RVD, if anything, it's a little bit of motivation, but I already know the answer. Like, I already know when I get out there, I already know how I move. I already know how I feel. So of course the fans are they're gonna be excited, to see, hey, you still got it. And I already know that. One comment that I hear a lot from the fans that I like to hear, and hopefully will continue to hear, is you never change. I love that when people tell me that. It makes me feel positive energy, makes me feel loved, and it makes me feel like I said, like maybe I'm doing something right. The way I look at coming back in and meeting up with all the young guys that grew up watching me, it's not like a challenge. It's more like I feel like for them, it's a fantasy match, but it's their fantasy match. I feel like they're all super excited, like it's a dream for them to be in the ring with me. At the same time, after wrestling almost 30 years, the business has changed and is drifting away from the old school. I'm not fighting I'm definitely not looking to adapt, and I'm not looking to fight to keep things the same. I'm just me, you know what I mean? I've never been a formula guy. I've always just kind of followed my own lead, gone with the flow of life, so that's what I'm gonna continue to do. So far, it's been a winning formula. Just be RVD, everybody loves you. In this case, if some guys need to get taught some respect, then I'll do that too. There's a big difference between imitating the moves of someone you idolize and actually feeling, one of those big, thick, experienced, educated feet in your face. I've been wrestling since before some of these guys were born, so if they're coming up and they want to test themselves against me, that's fine. No one's going to be throwing anything new at me that I'm not used to. Some people would look at it and say I'm there for the work I've already done. My name, the value of it, I'm known for, that's what I'm there for. I don't think necessarily that's the case, because unlike other main eventers from yesteryear, I still go out there and I still do it all. I can still do everything I ever could do. The other guys in the dressing room, they're more passionate than me. They want it more than me. They want what I've already had. So now, for me, is there pressure for me to keep it? What I have is I'm RVD. Nobody can take that from me.